Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. We're back with highlights from a race featured on Monday night in the live stream that we did. This was an incredible race and a reason why we do the Monday night racing, because it's always full of good drivers. It's where the real competitive people come out to race, and it's where we have some of the best experiences on the game. Monday nights are like, there's no other, in terms of daily racing, there is no other point of the week that can match it. It's where all the big people come out in terms of skill level and stuff like that. And it's highly fun. So we're starting from P3 in this race. We've got a fast driver behind us, Ace, pretty fast in high downforce, and we've got Biella, who's pretty fast at this combination, and Fento, who's actually been flying at this combination on daily race C. So this is going to be an interesting one. Now, we've learned a lot since doing this race. Now obviously we've changed how we do some of the gears in the corners, saving tires and stuff like that. So if you're watching this race, do factor in, if you're trying to copy some things that we're doing, try and use higher gears through some of the corners. You'll see that I kept going down to first gear here. I've tended to try and keep it in second gear through there now to avoid the gear shift and to help save the rear tyres. And also up here, you'll see myself going into first gear quite a few times. And now I'm actually staying in second gear quite a bit to try and save them rear tyres. You see there into first gear. So just factor that in if you're trying to, learn some stuff with regards to gearing in the race. Use a slightly higher gear to avoid that gear shift to save the rear tyres. But you can see in front of us, we've got Biella and we've got Fento pushing very hard. Now this track, pretty difficult to stay in that dirty air. At the start of the week though, it was a little bit easier than it is now. Towards the end of the week, everyone's picked up pace and we're all pushing the limits a little bit more. It's very hard to follow someone when you're in that dirty air. But from this situation here, we're actually staying in that slipstream. The gap's pretty similar between P1, 2, 3 and myself in P4. We're trying to push on. You can see we've got Ace behind us there, only about half second, just over half second behind us. He actually has a little look up the inside there. That would have been a bit of an optimistic move from half a second back, but he avoids hitting us there and we come out the corner and we've got Biella actually dropping a little bit away from Fento up in the lead, so starting to fade away a little bit there. He's going to have to push on and try and get a little bit closer to put Fento under some pressure in this race. Now this is the thing I love about Monday nights. You can see we've got really fast drivers, can't afford to make too many mistakes. We've got to get on it and really push, and obviously at the start of the week not everyone's up to speed, so it's good to see mistakes are possible. As we look on that replay camera, as all four cars there, you can see on the same pitch, you can see a few other cars in the background going through, so you can see the field spread in these races at night time is a lot different. When you're on in the daytime and racing in the daytime, the field spread is quite drastic, 40 seconds or more to some of the lower ranked drivers. But at night time like this, you can see the field spread is a lot closer, so it makes the replays look a lot better as well, because you can see all the cars going through on the replay camera. Looks absolutely brilliant, and this is why we do Monday nights for races like this. So we're going to fast forward on the straight into the braking zone again. You can see we're getting pretty close to Biella there. We're about 7 tenths behind him, 6 tenths behind Biella, and now we've got Ace behind us about 5 tenths, half second or so, 6 tenths behind us. And then on the exit, trying to get a good exit. Now you'll notice on the exit there, I was using first gear to get it down, rotate through the corner. Now you don't want to do that, really. You want to stay in second gear and just get the acceleration down nice and early and avoid that gear shift. It will help your tyre wear. So skipping ahead to the midway point of lap 3 towards the back straight here, and you can see in the braking zone, Biella about a second ahead, and we're pretty much identical gap to Ace behind us. But you can see that Biella is starting to put Fento under some pressure on lap 3 now. So Fento is starting to get a little bit closer and in that slipstream range. So we're going to skip to the end of lap 4, and you can see again, Biella is definitely getting closer, and we're also getting closer to Fento. Fento seems to be dropping off ever so slightly in this race. Not massive amount, but a tenth here and a tenth there. But you can see at the moment, the gaps between P1 and 2, 3, 4, pretty much equal gaps all the way through the field at the moment. That's because obviously Group 2, high downforce, handling in the middle sector. Now this car is a little bit easier to follow though, I will say that. This car is a little bit more, you can actually follow a car kind of through the corners because it's not as high downforce as say other Group 2 cars or Group 1 cars, so you can kind of follow through some of the faster corners, but you do still get that loss of aero with the turbulent air, so you lose a little bit of time in the middle sector through here. It's very hard to get on the throttle and you tend to lose a bit on traction. So you see Fento able to build that back up a little bit through there. He gains a tenth or so, but then Biella's managing to stay in that slipstream. I'm managing to stay in Biella's slipstream, and this means we both gain on Fento on the main straight. Now, at 1 second back, you don't get the biggest slipstream, it's quite a weak slipstream, and my tyres are starting to fade here. You might have noticed, you can see the rear tyres starting to fade quite massively, and that's partly because we are obviously doing that first gear shift here. You can see I keep using first gear now. That's a big no-no for the race. Make sure you're using second gear on the exit there, like I said earlier, and in some of the other corners. Try and avoid first gear because it will take your rear life out of the tyres, and you'll have nothing left on that 7th lap. So factor that in, and it should improve your overall race time as well on this combination. But you can see Fento being put under a bit of pressure now. You can see that Bila has actually got within about 6-7 tenths of him on the end of that straight. You can see he's very close into turn 1, and we've got Ace right behind us there, also putting us under pressure in the braking zone. It's around 7-8 tenths, 9 tenths once we come out the exit and back up to a second, where he's obviously struggled to get on the power. But Bila is managing to stay with Fento now in P1 and starting to really make Fento feel that pressure. But we're coming through here, through the right-hand DC, using that first gear again. I wish I would have realised this at the start of the week and just stayed out of that first gear, because first gear absolutely murders the rear tyres. So just always remember that. This corner is one corner that I've carried on doing first gear, because I find that using first gear to rotate it and brake late is actually not too bad. It will take a bit of tyre life out, but it does seem to help the car. But you can see in the braking zone there, Bila getting incredibly close. However, I missed my braking point. I was too busy watching the leaders at that point. I braked too late. I got marbles on the tyres, and that is going to affect us now all the way on the acceleration. And you can see there, Fento into the pits for an early stop. Now that is risky, because that means he's going to be possibly struggling at the end of the race. And also Ace goes in the pits for an early stop. You can see I'm 1.7 seconds behind. Now we're going to skip to the end of lap 7. We actually managed to gain 3 tenths on Bila on this out lap, which was quite nice, because we obviously lost a big chunk on that previous lap. So this is going to be very interesting. Will we end up, when we go in the pits now, will we end up coming out the pits in front of Ace? Probably behind Fento. Fento was 2 seconds ahead when he went in. You can see Fento there, still not massively ahead. So he's gained a little bit, but not enough to get the jump on, not enough to get a massive jump on Bila. And also Ace hasn't really gained much at all. He's pretty much gained 3 tenths with that undercut. So yeah, Fento did gain a bit there, but he's got a car in front of him. Now this is going to be interesting, because he really wanted to break away from the slipstream from Bila, but Bila has still got that slipstream to Fento, and now Fento has got a car in front of him who has not pitted yet. So this is going to spice things up a little bit and make it quite interesting for the final few laps in this race as we come through to this left-hand corner again. Trying to make sure you get a good exit here. This is one of the most important corners on the track. If you can get a good exit there, stop someone getting close to the overtaking opportunity, because this is pretty much one of the only overtaking opportunities on this track. You've got the end of this straight, and then the end of the main straight, where you go over the start finishing line into turn 1. They're your 2 braking opportunities where you can get an overtake done. So you can see there, Bila in front, managing to put pressure on the P2 driver who hasn't pitted yet. Now that has cost Bila a little bit of time, I think, on the exit, so that's give Fento a little bit of breathing space. But you can see Fento there has gained a bit on ourselves, obviously, with that undercut, but in terms of Bila, it's only gained like 6 tenths. So this is going to be very interesting towards the end of the race, because Bila's going to have that lap pressure tyres, and that should help me catch up as well, because obviously with that mistake that we made before we pitted, where we've gotten the marbles and lost a lot of time, it means now that when they start battling, we should be able to catch them back up, because our pace was pretty okay at this combination. Start of the week we were lacking a little bit, I have to admit. It was a track that I've not done too much running on, but our Monday pace was not bad considering we haven't done much running at this track. So you know, it's just a case of just keep it consistent. We've got Ace behind us who's on a lap older tyres, so I knew at this stage we just needed to try and start putting in some good sectors to push away from Ace, because his tyres are going to start fading, and we should be able to find a way to pull away from and break that slipstream. So trying to get a solid exit there. You can see ASO managing to stay with us all the way through the exit there, and he's got the slipstream all the way on this straight now and into the braking zone. So you can see through here just how close this race is. 4 drivers all in one shot there. You can see we're about 1.8 seconds behind Bila, and Bila is right behind Fento, and we've got Ace pushing ourselves also. So again, this is why I love Gran Turismo. Races like this, it's only a daily race. It's not an esports race. This is just a lobby where we've jumped into on a Monday night, and it's highly competitive. It's enjoyable. It's fun to be in. This is why I always do Monday nights, because it's where all the competitive drivers come out and we get the best racing possible. Absolutely brilliant stuff. You can see there, Ace at the end of the straight, 3 tenths back, a little bit too far back to go for a move. He's obviously going to start struggling with tyre wear also. My tyres now, one thing I have found with this combination is, it seems like my second lap is always a little bit stronger than my first lap on fresh tyres. Don't know why. Could be track temperatures, could be tyre temperatures, not sure what it is, but I suddenly start finding a bit of pace once I've got that one lap out the way. Even from Monday, with this started happening, and obviously through the week we've improved. We're a little bit stronger now. When we proper focus, we can do some pretty good times around this combination now. So into this tricky left-hand corner where you just got to get it into apex on the throttle nice and early, very close to the wall there. We've managed to get that gap up to 9 tenths now. So we've closed a 2 tenths on Bila. Bila is just inside. I think he's just narrowly in the slipstream to Fento there. You can see up ahead as we go into the braking zone, you can just see that Bila is just hanging on to the back end of that slipstream, and we're getting very close to the slipstream now to Bila. And this is only going to get closer because Fento's tyres are going to start fading in this race. You can see that Ace is starting to fade off a little bit now. His tyres are obviously dropping off. He's had the slipstream for the straight, so he's going to get a bit of benefit on the straight we've just been on and this straight. But then through the corners, he's going to start fading off ever so slightly. And you can actually see there in the braking zone up ahead that Bila round about 1 second behind Fento. So a couple more laps when them tyres start to fade for Fento. He's going to have to do 8 laps on them. 8 laps, the 8th lap on the tyres does start to fade massively on this combination because we're in Group 2, we're on soft tyres. It's a high multiplier on the tyre wear, and you've got a lot of traction corners here. So a lot of corners where you're putting the power down while turning, like this one here. And then again on the next left, the sharp left after you go through this little tricky section here, this left-hand corner, right through here, you're on the power while turning. So it's all about rear traction on the car. So it does start affecting your performance and how much time you can put down in terms of lap time. You can see that with Ace behind us now, dropped off to 1.3 seconds behind. His tyres are starting to probably feel a little bit shot at this point, and we're starting to get closer to Bila as well. So not only are we gaining on Fento, we're gaining on Bila. This is going to be quite an exciting finish to this race as we go a little bit wide there though. Unfortunately, again, lack of concentration, missed my braking point. Also the fact that we're going down to first gear, horrible mistake there. That's just lost us the 4 tenths that we had managed to gain and dropped us to nearly 2 seconds behind the lead group. And them two are getting incredibly close. You can see it on the delta up there at the front. They're very, very close to each other. So we're going to skip ahead to lap 12. We managed to gain a tenth or so on the lap we're on, and we're getting close to that slipstream again. 1.7, 1.8 seconds behind him. Exit speed there though, that is where we seem to be losing all the time. And the big reason for that is, like I said at the start, it's because we're using first gear. Make sure you stay in second gear there. You get much better exit out of the corner, you keep the traction, and you also avoid the gear shift, which gains you a bit of time as well. So working our way into turn 1 on lap 13, 2 laps to go. And you can see that the battle is starting to get interesting at the front now. And this is what we were hoping, that Fento would start holding up Bila, and when we can get involved with this race as well. So let's watch this all the way to the finish now, as it's going to start getting a lot closer. As we come through here, you can see we're gaining, because obviously Fento's giving Bila that dirty air, and it's making him struggle through the corner. So we've gained half a second on this lap already. Now I'm pushing now at this stage because I can see the gap getting closer. We've brought that gap to Ace behind us up to 2.3 seconds, so that's not a concern anymore. We've got the gap covered to the car behind. It's all about the podium battle as Bila gets a massive run out the corner. He's possibly going to go for a move on Fento on this lap. You can see it on the straight here. He's very, very close. We're almost in the slipstream on this lap, and this is what we need to do. We need to get in that slipstream. Fento looks like he's going to try and hold the line there. Is he going to manage to make this work around the inside there? On the inside, Bila's trying to go around the outside, get a better drive off the exit, but he just doesn't manage to get ahead of him. That's great for us because we've now got the slipstream on the final lap. This is going to get super interesting on the last lap of this race. You can see they're battling at the front, we're pushing, and we're just trying to see if we can get near them. Now hopefully they're going to battle into turn 1 also. Bila is going to go for a move around the outside. Now you can make this work because he's got fresher tyres. Will he be able to hang it around the outside there? That's going to be very, very close. Fento gives him the space. They go side by side. Brilliant stuff. Bit of contact, but I think that's all fair. There was only a tiny amount, and now they're going side by side, and Fento has lost that position. But look how close this is now. We're within 7 tenths to the leader, and we're behind the car with tyre wear issues. And Fento's going to get the slipstream because he's very, very close. So Fento's going to try and stay as close as he can through this section. Our tyres are also pretty worn at this stage because we've been doing that first gear a lot that we should have avoided. Through here you can see Fento getting a little bit out of shape there, but he's going to try and get on the power nice and early. Goes a little bit wide there, a bit out of shape on the power. Both of us lose control there, but I just about managed to save that. That is going to give us a massive amount of slipstream now because we've got a slightly better exit than Fento. Bila looks like he's in control. He's 3-4 attempts ahead there for the braking zone. So let's see as we come to the braking point as we go underneath the Gran Turismo 7. We're going to go to the right hand side. Bila seems to brake late, actually does brake incredibly late and misjudges that. That's going to put Fento and Bila side by side. And now we're going to go side by side with Fento all the way to the finishing line. This is incredible, and this is why we love Gran Turismo 7. Just look at this, all the way to the finish line, and it's going to be an almost photo finish as we go over the line. 3 cars within a 0.3 of a second, and we managed to take P2. What an ending to an amazing race. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that one. I know I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being in it. It was so intense, and they're the type of races that I really do love racing in on a Monday night. So hopefully we can get some more of them in the future. If you did enjoy that video, give it a thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you for more Gran Turismo content in the future. Bye everyone.